The first big exclusive of 2022 is here, Horizon Forbidden West, and it doesn't disappoint. Before we jump in, I want to say thank you to PlayStation who provided me with a review code for this video, for future videos. Also, I haven't finished the game yet. I haven't got quite to the end. I'm probably about 2/3 of the way through. The game is massive. The world is massive. So to finish the game, if you go for a fairly direct route, you're looking at about 25 to 30 hours. To get the full platinum trophy, you're looking at 50 to 60 hours. The game is massive. The game is very, very big in every sense of the word. We have more machines, more weapons, more side quests, a bigger world. We have Apex machines, elemental machines. There is so much going on in this world. The random encounters feel like mini little side quests. The side quests feel like main quests. The game is a sequel. In its essence, it is a pure sequel. It is better, it is bigger, and I can't recommend this game enough. One thing I would say, this is a sequel in terms of the story as well. If you didn't play the first game, if you've forgotten the storyline of the first game, some of the plots in this might just breeze past you. In the first couple of hours, the game does try to set up the story, the main combat, the gameplay for newcomers, and it does feel a bit slow for people that played the original games. It was a bit of a slow start, but once the cogs start turning, the main threat comes into play and the main story kicks in. It's hard to put the game down, believe me. I've been meaning to play other games, do other videos, and I can't stop playing this game. And yes, a Let's Play will be happening later on when the game actually launches, so look out for that. So let's touch on the story a little bit. I don't want to spoil the game at all, so I'm just going to touch on a few threads. We have a few returning characters. I like how this game, you feel like you have a companionship, you have friends, where the first game, you felt alone. The world felt alone as well, and Aloy was on this solo adventure. This game feels like a group effort, which I definitely liked. Val is a great companion. He just brings out the best in Aloy. Erend is back as well, and there's a few new characters which I will touch on. Well, I'll touch on when we play the full game, basically. I don't want to spoil it, but there's some really cool additions, and the story is captivating. It's a little bit of a slow start, like I said, but once it gets going, it is compelling, and you really want to see the conclusion. Believe me, right now, I'm recording this, and I'm thinking about the game. I'm about to head further west, and I want to see what happens. Another returning character is getting involved, and I just want to see the end result. It is compelling, for sure. So let's talk about some of the new additions to this game. We have the pool custom, which is used for puzzles. It's used for climbing. It's a grapple hook, basically. You can grapple onto certain terrains and boost off of it, getting yourself into the air, getting yourself into that sort of aerial combat range, giving yourself the advantage, getting above those machines or those humans. You have actual throwable spears that explode on impact. Great for those big boss machines, those big mummers. Also, by the way, some of the random encounters in this game with the big machines, these random encounters can feel like bosses, main bosses in other games, but just random encounters. Side quests feel like main missions. The characters that you meet in these side quests are just as detailed as the main characters. I don't know how they've done it. It is a game that pushes every element of the first game and they improve it. Guerrilla Games has yet again delivered in every way. So we have Valor Surges, which is basically a technique. So for example, you can go stealthy. You can use the stalker technology from that machine, and you can go invisible basically for a certain period of time. One particular one I like quite a bit is the power shot. Obviously, archery, range combat is still very important, particularly against machines. And this gives you the ability to do power shots. Massive amounts of damage against the machines with this Valor Surge. It is awesome. Also, you have alternate fire modes, which basically is the ability to change the technique of the weapon. For example, the Bolt Blaster. It will unleash a full clip. Simply, what you got to do is load the weapon up, press the left trigger, R1, and it just unload the whole clip into a machine, which is just crazy. With the Hunter Bow, you can arch your shot, so it goes up and back down and lands on top of the machine. So there might be a potential like weak point on top of the machine. This is a great way to get to it. There's loads of alternate fire modes. The Hunter Bow has 3. I think the bolt blaster has maybe a couple. There is a lot of different options. At first, I didn't quite understand it. The weapon stamina, the alternate fire mode. But once it clicks, and it's a lot of fun. And of course, we have the glider. The beautiful glider. When you get this for the first time, and when you jump off a tall neck or a really high piece of terrain, in the last game, you jump off, and Aloy would just be dead. But now you had the glider, the sort of Zelda-esque glider, and it's so good. It's so satisfying. I just take my time gliding down, looking at this world. I can't say enough about how incredible the details of this world. I've been playing in the performance mode with my playthrough, and I think that's probably the best way to play for me. But the resolution mode, oh my, it is so crisp, and the colors just come through. I feel like the world in the first game was a companion, almost just there to function as a hub for the game, where in this game the world feels like a character. There's so much going on. The old machines, the old ones, are just looted with machines everywhere. The foliage, the blight, it's just such... You just want to go and explore and touch every part of this game. And it's very hard to do because it's so big. I don't know how they did it. What I like about this game is you would be exploring. You're getting to your next destination for a main quest. Then all of a sudden you land in a new settlement. That's not a part of the main story. It's not a side quest in any way. You just land there and you're like, oh, hello everybody. A tribe, colour, shops, people, quests to do. And you just, how? How is this possible? Normally a settlement is put into a game. It's a part of the main quest. It's there for a reason. Not with this game. Yes, the machines are back and the combat, wow. I don't know where to begin. Some of the boss fights, some of the big behemoths, the mammoth machines in this game are crazy. I love, though, when you come back for a second time round, you know their weaknesses. I love the fact you see a weapon that might be annoying you in some way, a cannon, a tail that's whipping you every time you go near it. You can go, okay, fine. I'm going to tear that off. So you equip your tear arrows, you rip off that piece of equipment. You can even pick up the cannons that they've dropped and use them against them. Every fight feels different. When you get maybe a few smaller machines, but there's loads of them, you feel completely overwhelmed at times. But you put down a few traps, weaken them a little bit, slow them down with some acid, with some adhesive, and you get back in the fight. You don't give up. You keep going. That's where stealth comes into play. If you can take out a few machines before you begin the combat, that is very, very useful. Using that stealth technology, using the silent attacks, the critical strikes, and of course the override ability is back. You can control these machines as well for a short period of time where they join you in the fight. So that's back as well. So obviously this review has been overwhelmingly positive so far. Let's talk about some of the negatives. I mentioned this already. The beginning of the game does feel a little bit slow as it sets up the story. As you finally travel to that Forbidden West, it's a little bit slow. But once it gets going, it's very hard to put down. And it can be, I would say the story is almost impossible to... It's definitely reliant on you playing the first game, which I think is a massive negative for newcomers, for me. The main story threads you might not completely understand. You can definitely play it without playing the first game, but you may just miss some of those plots. Also, the swimming, the underwater segments, they look incredible, but they feel a bit needless. There's no underwater combat as far as I can tell as of yet. It's a way to get around. It's a very visually pleasing way to get around. Yeah, it's there, but why is it there? I don't know. Sometimes I've had some overlapping dialogue, particularly with side quests. Some NPCs might enter my little bit of dialogue and it may look a bit awkward. Characters disappearing in the background, stuff like that. Stuff that could be fixed very easily. Honestly, nothing game breaking, nothing at all. Just something that you may notice in the background where the immersion does drop very briefly. On the whole, I find it very hard to complain about this game in any way. It is a massive step forward for open world games. It feels like the perfect sequel, honestly. It feels like the sequel we wanted, the sequel we deserved. And yes, this game is not on Game Pass, for example, but sometimes you gotta pay for that exquisite wine, that fine steak, that succulent steak. and this is definitely one of those stakes. You guys should go and buy this game. Go and visit Las Vegas, San Francisco, and yeah, embark on this game. Embark on this adventure. It is well worth the money. The game, maybe a negative is the game is quite long. The game is quite long. It is a long game, but I never felt, particularly in this part where I am now, about 2/3 of the way through, I don't feel compelled to stop. I don't feel bored in any way. I just want to see what happens. I want to keep playing. I want to meet new machines. I want to see how this adventure ends. And I'm guessing it's going to end with maybe, here's a sequel. Because the game has so much potential. This franchise has so much potential. And I can't wait to get to the end and see what happens. This has been quite the adventure. Thank you guys for watching. Come back at the end of the week for some more Horizon Forbidden West videos. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I don't do reviews very often, as you can probably tell. I'm more of a Let's Player, but had the game fairly early. I thought I'd share my thoughts. Haven't finished it, of course, but there we go. Anyway, see you guys soon. Thank you guys for watching. Be safe out there, and bye-byes.